Lost in a blur of weather hype? I can help by bringing weather down to size and by putting the proper spin on it.
Do you get tense when hurricanes, tornadoes, severe weather threatens? Or maybe it's just confusion at the endless drumbeat of weather information pouring out of your TV. Hi, I'm retired Weather Service meteorologist David Gilhousen. I want to share 5 specific tips to help reduce your weather confusion and anxiety. Tip 1, look at the numbers in the forecast, not just the shock words, because the numbers will either lend credibility to the shock words or they'll make them appear like fluff and hype. What do I mean by that? Let's look at an example. On August 26, 2020, thousands of people in my Louisiana city had their cell phones go off, warning them of life-threatening surge. And yet when you look at it, they were only forecasting 2 to 4 feet. That's like saying, hey, you could drown in your kiddie pool. Possible? Yes. Likely? No. You see, we were a full 200 miles away from the expected landfall of Hurricane Laura in western Louisiana. And yes, we have a few roads that are down at that 3 to 4 feet elevation range, but warning the entire population, including those of us who are like 15 to 20 feet above sea level, 5-10 miles inland, simply nuts. So that's why you need to look at the numbers, not the language. And if you have problems thinking with numbers, go call a friend. Second, move away from nationwide weather channels if you're in a threatening weather situation. Why is that? If you don't know your geography, you could get confused. You could think they're talking about you, there's a threat to a certain area, but it's not anywhere near you. So what you want to do is find a good local weather expert. You could call him your weather rabbi. And when you get the information that you need from your local trusted source, turn the TV and the computer off. Being glued to it all day only leads to anxiety. Before I move on to the next point, if you found these tips helpful and you'd like to find out how I pick my weather rabbis, please hit the subscribe button. Third, I'm going to give you a statement that some of you will disagree with. You might find it shocking. I know Bill Belichick, famous coach of the New England Patriots, would completely disagree with me. He might even throw his cell phone at me. But no, seriously, here it is. You ready? Weather forecasts have improved. 3-day hurricane position forecasts are now as accurate as 1-day forecasts were in 1980. Concerning tornadoes, the time between when a warning is issued and when one touches down is now 14 or 15 minutes, compared to about 4 minutes in 1980. But what has this got to do with you? It's simply this. Don't be a prisoner of some bad forecast experience that you've had 20 or 25 years ago. In the words of my pastor, get over it, because forecasts have improved. Yes, there are going to be times when you're going to be left in a lurch. But what you got to consistently do is plow through the hype to get to the meat of the matter to determine whether you need to take action, because ultimately it could be very important for you. Point number 4, identify the risks that are most important for your local area and concentrate on those. In my Louisiana city, Slidell, the risks literally change from one subdivision to the next. In areas close to the Gulf of Mexico, when you're down near 10 feet above sea level, the biggest risk is storm surge. A little further inland, you may have to worry about flooding from drainage canals that back up, or you may have to worry about Pearl River flooding. Or for the rest of us, it may simply be trees coming down in a hurricane. So why is this important? It leads to my 5th point, preparation. You want to tie your preparation to your most important threat. See, we've got limited time, money, and energy, so we want to put that towards the most important threat that we would have and not waste our resources. Give you an example of that. If you're up in Mississippi or Alabama in a high tornado threat area, It makes sense to think about putting a safe room in your house, personal protective equipment, or buying that fancy generator. But if you're down in a hurricane flood zone, it doesn't make sense to do that. You're going to be evacuating a lot of time. You probably don't want to put a lot of money into your house. So there you have it. My 5 tips on how to reduce weather anxiety and confusion. My question for you is, what's yours? What do you do to clear through the barrage of weather information to get to the information that you need to reduce anxiety in difficult situations? I'd love to know about it. If you've liked this video but maybe find it a little too general, need some more specific, that's why you need to subscribe. In future videos, we'll be covering the hurricane forecasting and evacuation decision issue in depth. We're also going to look at tornadoes. Why are they so overwarned and maybe underseen? Okay, but we're also going to look at other things like winter weather driving issues, how to protect for backyard freezes on your sensitive tropical vegetation. How about electrical strikes to your electronic equipment in the home? We're going to look at all this and many more weather and preparation issues. So we'll see you next week.